You had a light that was red when you were on.
The studio's going to be redone.
I don't know. I feel like is that happening anymore?
I don't know. He's flummoxed.
I don't know what happened from the time we were
previous to now.
We were doing some stuff here today, and now
you know what happened. That dang BPA. That's what happened.
Oh, it's back.
Priority
baby.
one.
Priority
it's true
one.
love. Yeah,
it's back.
It is not true love because it didn't. This did not work.
All right. So what do you got to tell us about this? Get it together. Put your phone down. Get us our weather report here.
I'm texting with Drew.
You sent us.
He was running this.
You sent us a text yesterday of a word I'd never even heard about some sort of weather condition that we're walking into here.
Basically telling us we're all going to die.
Yeah.
I didn't say you were going to die.
Well, I mean,
I said giddy
you
up.
said a Torcon of 5.
I don't know what that is.
What is that? But I know DEF CON.
I know DEF CON. And
if we're in any DEF CON, it's bad.
I always,
So
for the longest
Torcon
time, I thought DEF CON 5 was the worst.
No, the best.
Best.
It's inverted.
It is inverted.
It's one of those rare things where
higher is lower.
Higher is low, which is why it's a better or worse. No, DEF CON 5, better.
Much better.
Much
situation.
better. DEF CON 1, ooh, worse.
Worse.
Got any gum?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
that's where that is.
So
where are we at? You told me yesterday, you said if we have a lot of sun, that could be a problem. We've had no sun.
No
correct.
sun.
And therefore, the Torcon has gone down, probably putting it at a 2 or a 3 out of 10.
Okay.
From a tornado aspect.
Okay.
You are looking at a lot of straight line winds still, severe storms. You're going to have 2 waves. You're going to have one around 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Great.
You're going to have another batch around 5:30 to about 9 o'clock tonight.
God almighty, really? A
Yeah.
3.5 hour band?
Yeah, you're going.
Larry David doesn't believe in the weatherman.
You're going to have a lot. Yeah. By the way, the stream was now when you thanked your mother. It was great.
Was what?
Was down?
Yeah.
Nana didn't get the thank you? Oh, God. Is it up now?
Yeah.
But will the audio be on anything?
Yeah.
Here's Bo Bishop and Nathan Segura.
Nana, I love you.
Thank you, Nana.
Merci beaucoup. Gracias.
Oh, Nana, thank you for keeping your son's life in order still
That's
at
right.
age 44.
This would be the part of the show where I tell any prospective business owners there who would like my endorsement, a generator company would be wonderful. Love to do that.
I have one, and I'll tell you
Gotta
what.
get that done.
It changes. It's a game changer.
Game changer.
You just sit there and go.
All good. We'd never had it. It had never been a problem. All buried power lines everywhere where we are. So there's no, it never happens. You always have it. So last week when
What's
we
the
were
biggest
out,
threat? A gopher?
I guess. Some sort of a marmot?
Well, inside the city limits.
You're still
It ain't legal either.
You're still looking at things today. It's not nearly like I got some stuff yesterday from friends of mine in Tornado Alley, and they're like, I don't remember the last time I saw Cleveland on any kind of list like this, but thought you should know. And I'm like, huh, how about that?
I want you to know that yesterday, when it was so nice out, we were going to put out our patio furniture. Like, we're back, baby.
Yeah, get it going. It's out.
And then the official Nana, amongst others, caution said,
Not yet.
Not yet. Torcon 5's coming.
Yeah. Wait that out.
This is all I have to say right now.
Yeah.
It's
Torcon
only
5?
1 o'clock.
Well, how about it?
Well, you're going to get your wish, and I don't think you want your porch furniture out in something like this.
All right. So
you're saying
this
is a fault. We're getting lulled into a false sense of security right now.
Yeah. Now, again, it is helping that there is no sunshine out to really kind of fuel everything up, but it will be here.
All right.
What's amazing is it's going to go from 77 currently
to
44 by 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Bit of a difference there.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is I will say this is one of the few things. There aren't a whole lot of things that the two littles are. NBC's not scared of much.
Yeah.
But the two littles are the Beamsies, for whatever reason, scared of the Cat in the Hat. The Mike Myers Cat in the Hat does not like that guy at all.
Really?
He sees it, makes him very uncomfortable.
Oh, baby.
Neither one of them are crazy about roller coasters, the two littles.
Sad.
But Bootsy was incredibly concerned this morning about tonight's weather. Was not at all a fan.
So he was in the loop?
He was in the loop, yeah. He knew kind of some things that were going on. I guess they talked about it yesterday in class. So he was very, very cautious, nervous, anxious heading to school today.
Again, it's
I
going
said,
to
well,
storm.
thank Gibbs.
It's going to
thank your Uncle
storm.
Gibby.
But I don't think it will be to the level that I was told it could be yesterday.
Yeah.
But I think that it's still going to be. You're going to have hail. You're going to have really strong winds. You're still going to have some really good-sized thunderstorms rolling through.
BPA man.
There he is. G. Cook.
New episode.
Did you ask him about? Did he when he taped it? Was he wearing the Yukon hoodie?
He was not.
Okay.
But it was the first question I asked him.
Good.
Of course,
good.
you're a big B.
Yeah.
Can you tell the people at home who are starting to get excited about the return of the BPA, those who have been jonesing for it in BPA Nation,
Been a lot of juice.
what to expect?
Comes out tomorrow.
And this is the first of how many?
It'll be just off season. It through the middle
Weekly,
of June. late
bi-weekly,
June.
tri-weekly,
No, it'll be weekly.
weekly.
Weekly. And it is you and you.
Yeah.
Well, and Glenn Cook.
I'm kind of Van Pelting it.
Gibbe Van Pelt.
Just if I can get enough voices every week, we'll make it work.
Sounds like how I spend my mornings.
Well, there's that.
That's worked fine.
I did.
I believe
driving.
in number
That's
one.
how I did my
driving.
Sirius XM show for
It's
many,
fine.
many years.
Yeah, it's all right.
2 hours.
safe.
No big deal. How long is this?
Oh, it's like 30 minutes.
Oh, in your sleep, Gibbe.
Peepaw
of your
Van Pelt.
talents.
Yeah. PPVP.
Got a little Griffey Jr. story in the podcast for tomorrow. For
Oh, I like
everybody.
it.
Hold on. Is it the one that you just saw that his dad was talking about? I just saw it. This got sent to me on Insta. Was it about when he got grounded?
No.
Oh God, great story. So God, I wish you had the IG. I could just send you these fun videos. We gotta get
I'm
you back.
still out of it.
Just get it back and don't even make it public. That way I can just have an account that I can send you videos to that are enjoyable.
What
for
am I
you.
supposed to do? Do I got to come up with a new name? I got to change all that?
Yeah, I think I put like a underscore.
Ugh.
Or Nathan Zagura 2.
Ugh.
Let's just
Fortunately,
call it
my name
Bowen
is
Friend.
very.
The account that was robbed. is just vacant.
It's just gone.
It's just gone.
They deleted all your stuff out.
Well, it doesn't. You go
You can't
to
even
it,
get to it. Mine doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't even exist.
They
You can't
took all
get
my
to it.
memories. It's
That's
like
what sucks about it.
yeah, it's like
what are
that
they going
song.
to do with it?
Leave the memories alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
why
don't-
they didn't do that.
I don't need like some
'Cause they
somebody
wanted
owning,
us to
like,
pay
I
them.
understand, but I don't like the idea of somebody owning like Bootsy with a lightsaber at the blonde's neck during the height of the pandemic saying don't panic, don't panic, don't panic when he was 4 years old.
I know
Like,
you should have.
I
that.
should-
as well.
that was such an incredible moment out of him. It was
Yeah.
really the rise of Bootsy.
Cocktails from your sweet bar.
Yeah, all that's done. It's all
Yeah.
gone. Yeah, not great. So
Anyway.
I'm not happy about it,
Ken Griffey Jr.
as you're saying. All right, go ahead. I got my pen.
They're still playing in the Kingdom.
Yeah.
This is when they're on the Mariners together.
Yes.
So
1 year or two. It was a very short run.
brief, but
Yeah.
still, how cool is that?
They both had a home run in a game.
This
Crazy.
is not that game.
Yeah.
So Ken Griffey Sr.'s in left field. Ken Griffey Jr.'s in center field. Ken Griffey Sr. goes out there and goes, look, I'm going to cover like a 3 square foot area of left field. You're going to catch everything else.
Yep.
Ken Griffey Jr.'s like, cool. Batter hits a fly ball right at Ken Griffey Sr. I mean, has to move. He's within his 3-foot circle. Hand up. I got it. Junior at the last second just slides over nonchalant. Boom. Catches it right in front of his dad. His dad kind of turns his head because at that point, you don't know where the ball. Once you lose
Sure.
sight of it, you're like, well, baseball's coming at my head.
Yeah.
Turns his head. Griffey Jr.'s got the biggest Cheshire cat grin on his face as
Sure.
he walks off. Ken Griffey Sr. stands there for a second, runs into the dugout, calls him over to him, tells him he's grounded and took his car keys.
Well, he was 18
Well, I was
because he
gonna
was
say
in
he
the
was
league. He's in the
18.
bigs at 18.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's a good story. I just saw
That's
it
pretty
today. I got I sent that one around. That made the rounds.
That is very, very good.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys who was identified young before internet and all of that stuff, but was identified young, went number 1 in the draft, and then was all of it. He was such a sensation, and it's pretty remarkable that he was able to do so at that time, playing on the West Coast in Seattle. He was one of the biggest things in sports during that time in Seattle. And then when he went to Cincinnati, he went home. It was a little bit rough, but it was decent. But that run he had in Seattle was ridiculous, and he was one of the biggest stars in sports.
It's crazy he never played for like the Yankees.
When he was a free agent leaving Seattle, the too bitter. The team everybody thought he was going to go to was the Braves because the Braves were the Braves then.
Maddox,
I mean,
Glavine,
I know they are
Smoltz.
again. They've won it since, but like they were Ted Turner, big money. We sign everybody, Braves, and he had a place in Orlando. It was close proximity to there. Everybody thought he was going to go to the Braves. That they had the juice and all the cash to sign him, and then he took less money and went and played for the Reds because his dad.
That's where
was,
he grew up.
Yeah, his dad was on the Big Red Machine, and his she would have owned it at that. I think at that time she would have owned it, the late '90s. I think she still would have owned it. I don't think it was in the Castellini family at that point. So him and Barry Larkin.
Barry Larkin, yeah, sure.
Yeah, who was another Cincinnati kid, right? Isn't Larkin from Cincinnati too?
No, Eric the Red. He was
gone at that point. Yeah, it was
Eric
Adam Dunn, that type of run.
Chris Sabo.
That was that team that swept the A's.
You know, another
Billy Hatcher hit like 750 in that
Yes,
series.
he did.
Okay, all right. The Nasty Boys, big deal. By the way, I don't know why this Kirk Gibson thing's everywhere all of a sudden. Have you noticed that?
Again?
Oh my God, yeah. I think it was Dodgers opening day. He was at that's why it was out in LA. He was at Dodgers.
I saw him during the tournament at Michigan State games.
Get out of here, dude.
I don't think he's doing well health.
By the way,
it could be that.
I think that bat was juiced upon further review.
You think? He just kind of stuck it out
He just put his bat out there and the ball went 400 feet.
Rocket ship.
Like he didn't even swing at it.
No.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah, Kirk Gibson's got Parkinson's.
I hate to see that. All right. I feel badly.
No, you didn't know.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
Still didn't prevent him from scorching the A's.
Okay. All right. Sports thing that I totally had forgotten.
Okay.
That in the year 2015, so not that long ago, after his run with the Celtics, Garnett went back to the Timberwolves?
I wouldn't have had that. So he went Celtics, Nets, and then back to the Timberwolves?
I guess.
Because he was traded to the Nets, which allowed for them to get Jaylen Brown and Tatum and all that.
I saw some video.
That he went back. Yeah,
of his
I do
first
remember
game
that.
back
Yeah.
with the Timberwolves, and there was some fan who, like, back in 2003 did some crazy dancing and had written, like, KG all over him and then got thrown out. And then the last time, 12 years later, he came back in for Garnett's return and danced around this big guy.
Yeah.
And Garnett, like, loved it.
Yeah.
Which I never.
Yeah, he went back just for like a year probably, huh?
Yeah,
and
so
finished up.
Yeah, yeah.
He just played for them, the Nets.
So
Celtics, Nets.
From gosh, what a career. 95 through 2007, Minnesota. Celtics 2007 through 2013. Then Brooklyn through 14-15, Minnesota 14-15, and then 15-16 is last year in Minnesota. Last year in Minnesota, oh boy, did he fall off a cliff. He goes to Brooklyn. The year before, at age 36, he averages 15 and 8 boards a game and is an all-star, I guess, on name recognition there.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to Brooklyn, then it's like 6.5 points and 6 boards, 6 points, 6 boards, 6 points, 6 boards, 7 points, 5 boards last year, 3 points, 4 boards, 14 minutes a game.
Well, even in Brooklyn, he'd become like a defensive player only kind of. At
that
that
was
point.
in Brooklyn, where he was under.
So
10.
that's when they had him and Paul Pierce and Joe Johnson.
Yeah, they were old.
Joe Johnson made like $250 million playing in the NBA, playing for the.
It's insane.
Suns,
he was really
Hawks.
good, but he wasn't.
He was good. There was that time where they didn't know what to do with the money, so they just paid anybody.
Yeah.
Is the way that it works. Speaking of the NBA, Cavaliers get win number 50
Yes,
last
congrats.
night. Good job out of them. They are the 4th seed. They're in the first round. This is going to be a lot of fun. Them against the Knicks. You're going to have all of the media feels on that. That's all. This will be the series everybody talks about.
You don't have to worry about playing
Unfortunately-
at noon on Saturday.
No, right.
Unfortunately, though, isn't Randall done?
I don't know. Is he? I take an NBA vacation in March. I watch the tournament. Wake me up in April, and then I'll pay attention again. I know the Lakers have been really good.
Yeah, they won
last
4 in a
month.
row.
Yeah,
Liquid has got them right back where they need to be.
got his foot right, man.
Sure, it
He's
did.
all back. Anthony Davis been unbelievable for them. But that's going to be fun, man. You're going to get all the primetime slots.
He's out for the season with an ankle injury. I know. Look, this is a big day. Look at the double flap over there.
Oh
look at the
my
shoe.
God,
Look at the
it's a-
double flap on the
it's
shoe.
a monk
it's a two.
strap.
Monk strap.
Oh my! It's a monk strap. Ends with an A shoe. It is a window pane powder blue jacket.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Stop!
Too much.
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, that was something out of him.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Me neither. And the
At
Knicks
all.
weren't prepared for Julius Randle out for the year.
Okay, there you go. Hey, real quick, I wanted to ask you something because I think you watched Succession, right?
I have not because we were there for Sunday's debut.
Okay, so did you see the first one?
I have not.
But you do watch the show.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you're 2 episodes behind.
Are we? Okay, then yes.
So there's been 2 episodes of this season.
We'll
Okay?
probably watch them tonight as a matter of
Okay.
fact.
So this will spoil nothing other than to say, just comes back with bangers. I mean, just everything is.
It
clicking.
ended with Kendall
Well, the kids are trying to.
theoretically taking over, right? Making
No.
the announcement.
No.
Or was that 2
no.
seasons
That's
ago?
2 seasons ago.
Okay.
No. It ended with Logan outsmarting the kids trying to usurp him. It's the first 2 seasons are unbelievable. In light, we spent some time yesterday talking about the WWE thing.
Yeah.
There is a ton. There's Murdoch, there's Sumner Redstone, there's all these parts to make this character, but there's a lot of McMahon, and I couldn't come away from it thinking like the character of Shiv Roy is absolutely Stephanie McMahon, and Shane feels like Kendall. It feels like that Shane would do anything to have it, to take the company, including throwing himself off of 50-foot tall things in order to try to appease his dad.
Yes.
And then his dad was like, "No, you're not it, man."
So yeah.
And Steph, you're not it either. And she probably thought she was. I mean, I know you're close to it.
Maybe
but
Wobbs Gams then is Triple H.
Might be. Was he in on the sale?
I'm sure he was running the company up until the sale.
Yeah.
I like that.
There's a
I
lot
like
there,
it.
though.
I'm gonna
I mean,
look through
there's-
that lens. It's fun when you look through lenses like that.
Yeah, I think so. So
By the
it's
way,
off to a heck of a
Julius Randle this year was shooting 46%, 35 from 3, averaging 25 points, 10 boards, and 4 assists.
Doesn't mean anything.
He was having a very good year.
I understand, but like the numbers in that sport mean nothing. They're so elevated.
That's fine. I'm just saying him not playing
Yeah.
is a good thing, I think, for the Cavs. I think
Yes,
Julius
for
Randle
sure.
being out
yeah,
is
yeah. I would
think
think
it's
that they would benefit from that.
I think
tremendously.
significant
Yeah,
loss.
Yeah.
He was an all-star this year.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of like the quarterback 4,000 yards, though. Averaging 25 points feels like quarterback 4,000
25
yards.
and 10, though? There probably aren't a ton of 25 and 10s.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I
would
don't know.
think.
But you can also one of the worst things that's happened in that league is the stat ribbons in every arena, because you can see where you are. So you can go get a triple double. Like you can consciously.
Sure.
Westbrook did this absolutely.
Sure.
And I mean, I don't know. Like he averaged a triple double not once but twice.
Twice.
So like
I love the rest.
there's that part of it. No, he was an absolute dynamo. Absolutely. All right, so we'll keep you updated. Hopefully, we have a calm afternoon. Is what we're hoping for. All is if you're curious, and I'm sure you are, since this is Cleveland Browns Daily, and we usually do a lot of NFL. Nothing. Bupkis.
It's all quiet on the Western Front. However,
Oh!
except maybe you're gonna say it. I don't know. Go ahead.
Yo, you go.
No, you go.
No, you said O first.
No, you did. Play the tape.
Really?
Yeah. Well, how about it? What do you got?
Cards. New
I was
uniforms.
gonna say the same thing. You knew it. You knew it. Yeah, they listened to the show. Hopefully, they really listened and took our some of our ideas.
They've got.
It's not a coincidence.
No, I wouldn't think. Man, that's a tricky one. It's
It
a
shouldn't have to
really.
be.
It shouldn't. I mean, the simple thing to do, other than the massive rebrand, would be to just wear the stuff that they wore with
school.
Tillman and all that.
Then you have a cool black alternate because
Yeah.
the black alternate with like the red specks.
Yeah.
It actually did look good.
It did, yeah. But they're the last. They're also the last team to get rid of the Reebok piping
Yes.
that came in 2005 ish,
Oh, man.
whenever it all went. And then
Bengals
everybody
were
had
so
them.
bad when they
The
had them.
Bengals were brutal. The Jaguars were brutal. Remember those? All that stuff. I mean, it's the Falcons had it forever.
Ugh.
They all had it. The Vikings had it forever. They had all that block
Oh,
and
man.
nonsense. So that'll all be gone now, and they're going to do it the 27th. You're going to get the new Cardinals uniform. So that's where you stand on that side of things. All right, we've got some mock drafting going on. We will go around the league, although as I mentioned, it's relatively quiet. We'll check in Indianapolis. Kevin Bowen will join us on the Colts as we continue to take a look at some of these teams and where they stand, play a little thing or not a thing as well. We are off and running on a First Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. There's a new way to cheer on your Cleveland Browns with the help of your favorite four-legged companion, Barking Backers, presented by Milkbone, the Browns' newest club for pet parents worldwide. Sign up today at barkingbackers.com. Barking Backers, the fan club for dogs. Lance Zierlein with a mock draft. We also had one for I saw McShay had one yesterday as well, and he went.
McShay had a conference call today. We'll have that audio for you guys tomorrow.
Very good. He had Stroud going 1, Young going 2. It was interesting what Ellis had to say because he was convincing enough in his story when we had him on yesterday when we were doing the Panthers. He was compelling enough in his understanding of his reasoning for them to take Bryce Young that it made sense to me. Like it would seem to check the boxes. His case made sense to me of them taking Young.
Oh, it was Monday. Must have been
sorry, Monday's show. Oh yeah, you were. That's right.
There.
That is, we did cards. It was
Yeah.
Monday we had Ellis on, and and his case was that in the draft, what is true in December will be true again in April, and that Young was always the consensus guy. Like, what has really changed that much between then and now to not go off of him? But the other thing that kind of clicked into it was, the pushback, and even he acknowledged this, was, well, C.J. Stroud had the Georgia game between December and now, and the measurables with Stroud versus Young. But the other thing that I coming back to as he was talking was that franchise continues to be located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Bryce Young is one of the biggest stars in the South.
Totally.
The last 2 years.
Totally.
And if you're David Tepper,
that matters.
that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I could see it. I mean, it's not like it seems like it's crazy to
no,
me.
they're going to go 1-2. So there has been sanity of that. There was a while it was like Richardson or Levis.
Well, not in this draft. They're not going 1-2.
Well, what's Zierlein got him doing? I'm pulling it up.
Oh,
You ready?
We have a
pull it.
lot of mock drafts, and that's when I saw this and then saw his explanation, and he goes, I go off the rails because I think this draft is not going to go chalk like everybody thinks.
So it's pretty amazing. If you click on this, they have Brooks, Jeremiah, Freeland, Edholm, Davis, Reuter, all mocks. You can just pick from one to the other.
Yep.
2.0, 3.0, 1.0, 4.0. A 4-round mock. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Reuter.
Don't give me
you
an
the 4
automatic
rounds. All right,
play.
so he goes
Somebody
Bryce.
running a website. Don't give me an automatic play.
Bryce Young,
that.
1.
Okay.
Said Young checks more boxes and makes more sense as game day ready.
Buckle
Houston
up.
Texans 2. They miss out on Young. The choice would be Tyree Wilson at Texas Tech or Will Anderson Jr. They take Tyree Wilson. Cardinals stay at 3 and take Will Anderson Jr. And then the Ravens trade, I guess, Lamar Jackson to the Colts and take C.J. Stroud at 4. Get out of here.
Yeah,
Get right on out of town.
Yeah. That's a lot going on, man. I mean, he's got guys going in the top 10 whose names I haven't even read. He's got them coming. He's got the Texans. Lucas Van Ness, 9. I haven't seen him in the top 10
From
ever.
Iowa? No.
Yeah, never. Gonzalez is always in all these mocks in the high level. He doesn't have Richardson going. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen Witherspoon as high as 6.
He's got Jackson Smith and Jigba at 11 to the Titans.
I saw. I think McShay had him 11 to the Titans as well. I'm going to give you. Here's one from the. There's all this smoke around in the Lamar world because I think where this gets. First of all, like the idea that Houston would that's not a real popular ownership group anyway, and the fact that you're sitting there at 2 and you would not take Will Anderson but would rather take Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech, 2nd overall over the quarterbacks over all of it. Would be, I don't even know how do you not burn the city to the ground?
Yet,
Well,
I
they get a
feel like
quarterback. They
there's
still get
a
Levis at
possibility.
7. They still get a quarterback.
Right, but they have to trade back into the Raiders to get it in what he's laid out here.
Yeah.
Let's be real clear.
He's based in Houston, by the way.
Yeah. I didn't know
Lance
that.
Zierlein. So he is plugged in.
The other thing I would say is, these things are done. There's a reason that these dropped yesterday, the day after the Final Four. These are done to create buzz and give. So now you're on NFL Network. You need something to talk about. Lance Zierlein's mock. Oh my gosh, Baltimore coming to 4 and taking Stroud and Lamar going to the Colts and all this. So one thing on the Lamar front that I wanted to run by you guys. Do you think that there is the team that could have an interest in him that we haven't talked about enough, New England?
I could see
So
it.
he's trying to shop Mac Jones.
Yep. Good. Send Mac Jones to the Ravens. I'm in.
Oh, for sure. The teams this morning I was reading the teams that he contacted about Jones were the Raiders, Houston, Commies, and Bucks were the 4 teams that he reached out to that Belichick allegedly had conversations with Mac Jones for, was those 4 teams.
Okay.
He always covets, anytime you talk to anybody in New England, he's always coveted a running quarterback. He tried making Cam Newton work. Like, he was always intrigued by what that could do for an offense. He can't draft in the first round anyway, so what's 2 1s to him?
You can't really draft in the second round. It doesn't
Right.
feel like
So it doesn't matter. Like, what?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Okay.
So take my next 2 1s, fine.
Okay.
I might not be there anyway.
Right. His roster is kind of sort of one that Lamar's skill set would be one that you could make do with, because you kind of need to do everything based on their roster. They don't have a lot of weapons. So if you have an ultimate weapon at quarterback, that would do it. There's pressure from Kraft for the first time probably ever to win. He wants to catch Shula in the worst way. Lamar's the toughest guy on a week off to prepare for. We've lived it.
Let me ask you this.
Please.
If they get Lamar, are they still any better on paper, assuming Rodgers ends up with the Jets, which we'll talk about in a little bit? Are they still any better than 4th in that division?
They're in the mix to be somewhere between
3 and 4?
I think at the ceiling, it's a – what is it? At the ceiling, 7? A 10 and 7 team, and at the floor, it's a 7 and 10 team.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, just on paper, they're not going to be ahead of the Bills or the Jets.
I have
with
more
Rodgers.
question around Miami just because to go all in with Tua and ignore his injury stuff,
It's crazy.
it's nuts.
The rest of the roster, though,
totally
the rest of the
sold
roster's great.
on the New York Football Jets.
I like their roster a lot, but you're waiting on Rodgers. So
the
that's part of it.
longer you wait, maybe.
Well, we'll get to that.
I don't know. I just think
that's Kyle
like-
Shanahan.
But like
All this stuff going on.
Rodgers could derail a season. I feel like.
it feels like he's going to – if anything, I feel like he'll be – don't you think he'll want to be – he'll be motivated? I would think. I think he'll play really well in
I'm
New
curious
York.
how he responds to the New York media, though, when he has a bad game, because they will just absolutely kill him. The ayahuasca stuff, all of that. They're going to just rip him.
Honestly, I don't know what motivates him.
Well, I think it feels like spite motivates him a great deal, and he will have tremendous spite for the Packers. Because he hasn't talked since McAfee, right? Like in 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Yeah. I don't know. I just when you think about New England, but again, this is what I keep coming back to on this front with Baltimore. They have historically been, unfortunately, a really smart organization. And the idea that they would trade Lamar Jackson, a roster that's kind of built specifically for him,
Yep.
that they would trade that and not have a backup plan, not have a guy in there to go, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, I hear you.
They just are too smart for that. They've never been that foolish.
By the way, today was Eric DaCosta's pre-draft presser.
Yeah.
Would not talk about.
They almost had to literally cancel it because they announced at the beginning, this is a draft press conference.
Sure.
Don't ask us about Lamar.
You can't do that.
There wasn't for 5 minutes later, they threatened to stop everything.
You can
What do you mean they threatened to stop it? They said we're
They said we're going to pull, if no one has any draft questions, this is over.
But and I know that we have an availability coming up. I've never understood the point of talking to a general manager before the draft.
Agreed. He's not going to tell you anything.
He's not saying anything.
Hey, here's our board.
So
Cool.
how do you phrase a question that's relevant?
I don't know.
Can you give me the position? Like you think about asking AB, like when our guys have to ask AB in a couple of weeks, like they have the presser. How do you even phrase a question to get an answer that gives you any nugget of interesting information back?
You can't.
Like even if you said, what are the position groups that are strong in this draft? AB would name 10. Not naming 2
Yeah.
because you don't want to tip your hand on anything.
Well, we look at ourselves as
Of course.
as an expansion franchise.
Yeah. What's your philosophy on, there's no, you're not getting anything. I did think Harbaugh was funny though. He was available too, and he had a funny line that I read this morning. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he had a funny line.
Even if they wanted to
it was
talk
about Porter Jr. He talked about Porter Jr. specifically, and he said, I do love the idea of Joey Porter being a Ravens fan. So I thought that was funny. Like that he at least gave you a little
Trolling
nugget
a little bit
of something.
It is even if Andrew Berry a couple weeks from now wanted to talk to you and specifically tell you about what they were going to do, they have to wait 73 picks. Who knows what that will look like?
Sure.
Even if you
so you're talking in generalities to begin with, and now it's even more. And I think it's mandated, right?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Because none of these other mocks have anything for us, I thought that this might get everybody excited. You guys haven't done the Chad Reuter one, have you?
No. No, because every mock's the same, and I just am like, eh.
Well, he's got us in the third round. Guess what? What position our first pick is?
Running back.
Zach Evans, Mississippi.
Yep. It's a
running
deep
back,
draft.
and then he goes from running back. Then he takes Jamie Robinson. Boy, that's gonna. I guarantee I'll call that guy Jimmy at some point. Jamie Robinson from Florida State. What do you know about him with your connections in Tallahassee?
Not much.
No.
I was just thinking about Zach Evans. Like, I'm pretty sure because they had a freshman who was like the dude running back there. They ran it a lot then. Yeah, this kid had 936 yards, 6.5 yards a carry, but he wasn't the bell cow. The bell cow was the freshman.
Well, eventually, from his prospect grade from Zerline, eventually an average starter, which 6.25. That's not bad for in the third round. Average career of just 6.9. You just said that. Home run ability, nagging injuries have limited him. Lead back size, impresses with willingness to fight through contact for additional yards on most runs. Vision and creativity are average at best, but the talent trait should put him in contention for early carries. A very good complementary back with future RB1 upside.
There you go. Yeah, they ran it a lot last year at Mississippi because they had a freshman whose name escapes me who was the dude for them. It's silly season, man. It's just absolute silly season.
Top end
Again,
speed
that's
for
why
long
we haven't
house
gone
calls.
through a lot of them because
Love
every one of them are. I saw this one and I'm like, well, this is different.
Well, what makes it interesting is this notion of Baltimore. To me, that would be the type of deal that would make sense for Baltimore, right?
Yes.
To go from one franchise quarterback right into another one. The idea that the Ravens, as smart as they are going to go from Lamar Jackson to no quarterback, piecemeal it together, because the rest of their roster is good.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
They're not doing that. They're what was the over on them? 8.5? Like they're not going to the bottom.
No.
They're too good. So they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
They're going to have – I still think they're going to have Lamar. If they don't have Lamar, then they'll have somebody else who's
Anthony
quality.
Richardson, by the way, and this falls to 14 in New England.
So that's interesting, right?
So there's
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, it's fine to say – I mean, I think it's fair to say, like, if you're them, you're with Mac, you're like,
This isn't working.
this ain't it, man.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's abundantly clear. All right, coming up next, we will go around the league. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. One of the most passionate fan bases in the National Football League. Join the Brown season ticket member waitlist today. Best chance securing tickets for all home games in future seasons. Don't miss out. Go to clevelandbrowns.com/tickets or call 440-891-5050.
What are you looking outside for and then looking at me for?
Oh, just something joyous happened on out there, and so
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Like there's a lot of celebrating and hugging, and
Wonderful.
I mean that's a heck of a look. Heck of a look. As we go around the league, one of the under-radar quarterbacks in this year's draft class set to have a very busy few weeks. Per the Saints, per Ian Rappaport of NFL Media, Clayton Tune is set to visit the Saints on Wednesday and the Browns later this week.
Baby.
He also has visits and workouts scheduled to the Texans, the Giants, the Steelers, the Bucs, and the Rams. Wouldn't surprise me. Did I just go away?
Yes,
Did I just go away?
you did.
Well, that's a first.
It is. That's never happened here.
No.
Who is sitting here?
Me.
Aha.
Taste the
BPA.
soup. What is the soup called? Taste the soup.
I
Too
definitely
hot?
didn't unplug that.
Taste the soup. Too spicy. Just taste the soup. Where's the spoon?
Right there. Would not surprise me at some point with one of these picks to take a quarterback and see if you got a developmental guy that you can have a little value with going forward.
Yeah. Look, we do not have, at least at this point, a long-term backup solution. Josh Dobbs on a one-year deal. Kellen Mond feels very much like a project, like a draft pick would be. But I think it is a position that it is wise to continue to look at and say who can help come in here and run this offense. And now he's a guy that's got mobility. He's somebody that would allow you to run, I think, very similar to what you're doing with Deshaun. Obviously not the thrower that he is, but somebody that you want to get in and develop. So people obviously seem to like him. A lot of teams are going to give him a look-see, and the Browns are going to be one of them.
Also an asset accumulation, right? Get more people who can have value down the road. Maybe you develop them and you turn them into a pick somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the kind of the situation there. Among other issues, Travis Kelce and his mama going to throw out the first pitch for Friday's Guardians home opener. That's pretty cool.
Not too shabby.
Yes, it's very cool.
We will programming. We will not be on Friday.
Be fun if he could finish here, wouldn't it?
It's nice that it'll be 49, high of 49. If he could finish here?
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Wouldn't suck.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like play here a couple years?
Keep saying it.
I am. I mean, I think it'd be great. I'm for it.
Travis Kelce is a Brown. Well, how about it?
Everybody be for it, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Him and Chief out there.
You've already
for 2
beat that
tight
horse
sacks.
to death, and you've been back for
Look at
24 hours.
All right, dude, you have no idea. It's my favorite.
I think we do have an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we do.
Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta in his pre-draft presser today, not commenting on Lamar Jackson. We talked about that a little bit earlier. He's playing bad cop. Harbaugh's playing good cop. That's the way that's going. I did not see the Titans tweet this morning, Gibbe. What did it say?
I believe at first you're like, what is that?
Okay. Look it up.
Yeah.
Send it to you in the rundown. You got to watch it.
Well, no, but listen, here's one thing. So if I have a printed rundown with a link in it, I can't transpose
But I
that
also
onto-
email you the rundown.
Right, but I
at
don't want to have 2
12:30.
rundowns.
No,
up.
right.
I
I'm
want
saying
one
just
rundown.
go to the rundown via email.
How about I just go to Titans Twitter?
Okay,
Fine.
fine.
All right. By the way, so now the new thing with this is you have an organization has a gold star on Twitter, meaning that they are part of a group, and then the little icon next to it is the group they're a part of. That's
Yep.
our operating.
Part of the NFL.
Okay. All right. So which one? All right, the one that says coming summer 23.
Yep.
All right. Do we need? I gotta hit play.
Yep. So it's an image.
Looks like is it a can or I can't tell what it is.
Is it a can?
It just says coming 2023.
And then you're playing it.
Oh, it's paint. They're going black.
You
Or
would think
is
that
it
at first.
Oil. Is
It's
it oil?
an oil drum.
Is that an oil drum dripping oil? Because they're going to wear the Oilers logos. Hey,
I'm gonna
coming
tell you.
summer 23. How about you just send those to Houston, let them be the Houston Oilers again, and we all win. You stay the Titans.
It is one of the biggest just lack of understanding of not only your fan base, but they are doing it just for themselves, just for ownership. Who in Tennessee wants to wear an Oilers jersey?
They're beautiful jerseys.
They are,
But
but
they
they continue to be the Titans. That is Houston's team. Now I understand that they were the Oilers initially in Tennessee, but I don't know if they were ever in Nashville. You remember when they first went to Tennessee, they played at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis.
Yes.
Because Nashville didn't have a stadium.
Yep.
So that thing was really put together quickly, and they wore the Oilers uniforms, but then eventually became the Titans. I don't remember how many years they wore the Oilers uniforms in Tennessee, and I don't know if they ever wore them in Nashville. I don't think they did. I think they only wore them in Memphis. But who in Nashville would identify with that? The only person, the audience for that is in Houston.
Right. It's just that they look cool.
So the only other example of this that I could think of, I mean, this would be like the Ravens wearing Browns throwbacks.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Colts throwbacks would even be, although the Browns would be the apples to apples. The other one that happened like this, the Carolina Hurricanes wore Hartford Whalers throwbacks.
Hartford, the whale.
Hartford, dude.
Love those unis, though.
They're great.
They are great.
It's just because they're cool
However,
unis.
Right, but like you're that's not who
No.
you are.
it's not your fan base.
No, it's not in any way.
No.
I don't understand it.
I don't get it
That's-
either.
I
How
thought,
about we
I
just-
thought at first I was like, oh, they're going black?
Yeah. Well, because I don't
Interesting.
identify them as the Oilers. I identify the Texans more as the Oilers. Because it's Houston.
The level of spite not to just give that back to the Oilers, I don't get it.
One of the really good. There weren't much good that came from the moving of the Browns, obviously, but the one precedent that was set was when you take a legacy operation, the city keeps the operation,
The history.
the history, the uniforms,
Yeah. Everything.
It stays. You don't take that because up until that point, if you bought a franchise, all of it went with
Fair
you.
game.
Yes.
And it went and carried on. So it allowed for it here. It happened in Seattle with the Sonics. Like the Thunder don't have the Sonics history. That's what it'd be similar. Like be the Thunder wearing Sonics uniforms. Like who in Oklahoma City wants to wear those?
Right.
We continue to not be in Seattle.
Right.
Baffling that there's not an NBA team there, but that's beside the point.
I don't know what I think they're waiting. They're going to do that in Vegas at the same time. They're going to do Seattle and Vegas at the same time because there's certainly room for it. Yeah, I mean it's incredible spite to not just give the uniforms.
Spite. Dude.
Give the
Yes.
uniforms and the branding. Like make the Houston Texans the Houston Oilers.
Yes.
Wouldn't everybody in Houston go nuts for that? Wouldn't the NFL benefit from that?
Yes.
Crazy. I saw Mike Florio with this with the 49ers Rodgers stuff yesterday as well.
It came, so it came off of FS1.
Okay.
And Carthan, or we used to do mornings with Boomer on FAN.
Oh, Carton.
Carton.
Yeah.
He brought this up. He's like, deal's not done. Do you at least make a call if you're the 49ers?
I mean, I think you would.
That
I
sounds
just
a
don't
lot
know-
different, though, than they're interested.
Yeah.
That sounds like he's pontificating as to whether or not they would make a call. The
I
answer
think
is
that-
yes, but I also don't know about how they would pay him.
Well, they don't have. Well, I don't know how they would pay him. I don't know how that they would compensate the Packers because they don't have any picks because they all went for Trey Lance. So it's hard to.
And they're, yeah.
It's hard to get
their
there.
guy. Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I think as long as the Rodgers deal isn't done, if you're any other team in the league,
You're still in
you
play.
place a call. But then the other thing with trading for Rodgers is does he have full no trade?
I don't know.
So he would have to approve of anywhere that they trade him because otherwise he could just retire. So like he really holds a lot of cards in this thing, not all of them, but he holds a lot. And so he's only going to go where he wants to go.
Yeah.
You know, that's the deal there. All right, coming up next, our off-season tour continues. We will head to Indy, currently picking number 4 in the draft. Kevin Bowen will join us on that front where the Colts stand. They're thinking heading into it. That's coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, second hour, Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Time to head out on the Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea Hotline, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. Kevin Bowen joining us, co-host of Kevin and Query in the Morning in Indy on ESPN 107.5. The Fan over there, covered the Colts for over 10 years. And great to have you on, Kevin. Thank you so much for taking the time. Boy, they've tried everything, right? Every quarterback since the Andrew Luck. It's odd. We were there when that happened. Over there playing in that game when all of a sudden that shocking retirement happened. They've tried everything to get a quarterback in there. Now it feels like they're going to at least have an opportunity. What do you think the approach is here, and how content will they be to just stay where they are, although they don't have a whole lot of options in it? I guess I can't let somebody move ahead of them at 3, though.
Yeah, you are right. And thanks for having me on, guys. 8 straight years of a new Week 1 starting quarterback that's approaching an NFL record. Not a good thing. I'm sure your listening audience can empathize maybe a little bit with that.
Oh, yeah, we got a jersey.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little long. It's starting to get double XL, triple XL here in Indy as well. That's the biggest question is, now with Carolina trading up to 1, the presumption is 1 and 2 will be a quarterback. And, when you look at it from a Colts standpoint, you've got a division opponent at 2, and you've got a team in Carolina with Frank Reich at head coach and some important people in their front office that just came from Indy. So you would think they would have a lot of intel into what the Colts potentially would have liked as well. And Arizona sits there at 3, and now the question becomes, if you think it's C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, 1 and 2 in some order, is there separation with Will Levis and Anthony Richardson, and how much separation is there? And if so, is it worth trading up to 3? Because to me, Arizona is the new pivot point of the draft. What are they going to do? They can field calls and probably take it up until, 8:20 Eastern, 3 weeks from tomorrow night, and play that game. And if the Colts stay pat, then all of a sudden they might have what's left on the shelf for them, if you believe those first 4 quarterbacks, will be Stroud, Young, Levis, and Richardson.
Or perhaps that quarterback could be Lamar Jackson, right? We've heard some speculation about that. Lance Zierlein's latest mock has the Ravens and the Colts working out a trade that would send Lamar Jackson to the Colts. Do you think there is anything to that?
I do not. Things would have to change, I think, a lot from a, demand standpoint. And I think, first off, Lamar's demands of the contract, and then secondly, what the compensation would be as well. I think Jim Irsay views himself as kind of a steward in NFL ownership, and I think the contract for Deshaun Watson is something he does not believe should become the norm in the NFL. And if Lamar wants something along those lines, I don't think Jim Irsay is going to be the one to hand him that. And then again, compensation, I think, is something you can't ignore. It's not just handing him, potentially a fully guaranteed contract. It's also giving up 2 first-round picks. And I think the Colts roster has shown in years past they are not a quarterback away, especially in a loaded AFC. And then lastly, you can't ignore just Lamar's playing style. I mean, he's an incredible talent, but when you look at the Ravens, they've played 12 games in the month of December and January the last 2 years, and Lamar's missed 10 straight in the most important parts of the season. And, his playing style at 24, 25, I don't think is a guarantee to still be as effective as MVP-like, as unique, et cetera, at 31 or 32. So for all of those reasons, I do not see the Colts getting too involved with that.
What do you make of the Colts offseason so far? Feels like the biggest signing, Samson Ebukam, the edge rusher, and Matt Gay, the kicker, and probably biggest losses, trading away Stephon Gilmore, and then you lose Paris Campbell, Bobby Okereke, and then, of course, releasing Matt Ryan, but that was no shock at that point. Add Minshew, Taven Bryan, a former Brown as well. What do you make of the offseason moves and where this roster is going into the draft?
Yes, certainly not a lot of headline acquisitions. It's pretty par for the course with how Chris Ballard operates in free agency. They had a historically bad offense last season, and you just read off some of those names. I mean, a lot of those guys are defense, subtractions and additions. Obviously, the kicker doesn't play offense either, so they haven't really done a whole lot to that side of the ball. Certainly, you would think quarterback will be that first-round pick, and obviously that'll change a whole lot, but I would say the biggest offseason acquisition, or at least how the Colts view it, is their head coach. And that they think that Shane Steichen's background, from Jalen Hurts to Justin Herbert to Phillip Rivers, the guy that's been with different, styles, sizes, shapes of quarterbacks, and they think that, his presence will be able to, ignite an offense that desperately needs that. So, again, they have not done a whole lot personnel-wise. this offseason. The trade of Stephon Gilmore arguably was their best player last season. And I think that was probably a mutual thing of Gilmore not wanting to be part of a rebuild and the Colts saying, all right, it's unusual for us, but we probably need to look, one eye a little bit more towards the future, clear up some cap space, get a draft pick out of it. But it's a very foreign time for Colts fans. I mean, I think they look at the AFC and, everybody or a lot of the teams in the AFC are kind of in the fast lane with the quarterback, and the Colts are simply just trying to merge onto the highway.
Yeah, it's crazy. How sturdy is the ground with which Ballard stands? Because they've all these starts and stops, and is he still has full confidence?
He's a bit of a cat with how many lives that he's received here, and it's certainly rockier than what it was, but. You throw up his resume as an NFL GM 6 years into it, I would guess 80 to 90% of them would be fired by this point.
Yeah.
But Jim Irsay's given him another shot. And anytime you have a GM hire a new coach, you would think that gives the GM at least a couple of years with that new coach. So, Chris Ballard, we could be looking at, 8 or 9 years of him at the helm. And, I mean, the resume is the resume. You haven't won a division title since 2014. You've played in the easiest division in the AFC, and during that time, every other team in the division has not only won the title, they've won multiple AFC South crowns. You've won one playoff game. When you look at the most important positions on a football team, you can make the argument that the Colts have not found answers at really any of them, talking quarterback, talking number one wideout, left tackle, edge rusher, cornerback, those areas. So I think it's a surprising thing to a lot of Colts fans that he is still here, headed into year 7. He's under contract through 2026, but I think Jim Irsay looked at it last year, thought it was more coaching than personnel. I'd probably disagree with that. And I don't know how much the owner really wanted to entertain having to hire a new coach and a new GM this past offseason.
So then piggybacking off of that, I mean, this is a franchise, a market that was, 15 years ago, it's a fever pitch. I mean, you've got Manning, you can't get a seat. It's everybody's in a jersey. And then from there, it's the most fortunate fan base, right? Because you go from Manning to Luck. Like, who gets to do that? And now they've been in this for a minute now, as you mentioned, with the 8 straight years of different starting quarterbacks. Where's the fan base with this? And the worst thing you can, there's anger, and then there's the next thing, which is worse, which is just not caring, apathy. Where are they?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think I said it a few minutes ago. It is a very foreign time for Colts fans. I mean, they have been. I mean, just think about the drafts. When you suck, you fall into Manning, and then when you do it again, you fall into Luck. I mean, I want to say Tim Couch and Eric Fisher were the number 1 overall picks in the drafts the year after Manning and Luck. So it obviously could have looked a whole lot different for this franchise. But part of me is kind of like, welcome to NFL. I mean, this is life for 95% of the league. So it was in my opinion, it was probably the most disappointing / embarrassing season in 25, 30 years for the Colts. Just the expectations, the whole Jeff Saturday fiasco. I mean, they set historic records late in the season in a negative way, blowing the biggest halftime lead in league history, blowing the biggest fourth quarter lead in years in the NFL. So for all of those reasons, I think Colts fans, unfortunately got a bit of a dose of reality. And now it's, in my opinion, probably the most important decision this franchise has faced in Irsay's ownership, which dates back to like 97, 98. Because, again, Manning and Luck, we can debate Ryan Leaf, but in hindsight, it's probably a bit 2020. But
sure.
I mean, those were rather givens. This is not. This is a big-time decision, again, at the most important position in sports, in a draft where you might have the third choice at quarterback. So it's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out here.
Do you think they're comfortable starting Minshew if they took, say, Anthony Richardson to let him develop?
I think they would be. Obviously that's a debate that you could probably point to guys that have had success being thrown into the fire and guys that have had success with the redshirt year. Mahomes probably being the one that stands above the rest in terms of the redshirt year.
Sure.
Peyton Manning, his first season was 3-13 and threw the most picks any rookie's ever thrown in the NFL. And look how that turned out. So that's the fascinating debate about Richardson is, should he play or should he not? I don't think there's a position in any sport that differs more from practice in a game than a quarterback. You literally wear a different color jersey in practice not to get hit, emulate those reps. And then I could probably also hear the crowd that says, he deserves a year of practice and sitting and watching. So if you look at the Minshew contract, there's a lot of variance within it. I think part of that is the Colts don't know if they're going to need him to play or not. And, some of it might be a little bit of a, hey, if you're really bad, this season, do you fall into the Caleb Williams sweepstakes for next year? I think it's very difficult to tank in the NFL, but I've certainly heard that from Colts fans. And then you also have a section of the Colts fan base that, I say this in all seriousness, they've already started the hashtags for Arch Manning. So you have a little bit of a section of the fan base that's trying to think about that, 3 years down the road.
Outside of quarterback, we saw Jonathan Taylor get hurt this year. Like, what is the identity of this Colts team? What do they hang their head on as a team, as an organization outside of the quarterback position right now?
Well, I think in a perfect world, it'd be the offensive line. I mean, they have some heavily invested draft picks in the offensive line. When you look at Quentin Nelson, 6th overall, Ryan Kelly at center, 18th overall, their right tackle, I think was 37th overall. Those are really some important draft picks. The O-line struggled mightily last season. I would say defensively, they've been pretty much an above-average unit throughout the Chris Ballard tenure. So, he is adamant, trenches, trenches, trenches. That's where you want to be built. I would say one of the fair questions to ask Ballard, and has been asked of him, is your roster building approach right for the NFL? I mean, if you look at the Colts' best players, you would list them as a left guard, a running back, an off-ball linebacker, and a defensive tackle. And those guys, and Quentin Nelson and DeForest Buckner and Shaquille Leonard and Jonathan Taylor, throughout their careers, they've been arguably the best, if not one of the best players at their position. But again, you see the results. The results are one playoff appearance, no division titles, and you're trending in a negative direction. So I think that's more of the question is, do you need to look at the blueprint? Do you need to look at the roster building approach? And does that need to be questioned a little bit more than it has been?
Kevin, great stuff, man. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate you.
You bet, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Kevin Bone, co-host of Kevin and Query in the Morning on ESPN 107.5, The Fan in Indy, joining us. Just kind of a road to nowhere situation. We'll hit the categories on the Colts.
It's very strange.
Coming up next, you'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Home Exteriors Siding and Roofing Products. Bo here for Renew Home Exteriors. Don't spend all day with high-pressure sales guys. The team at Renew won't waste your day with hours of negotiating. Renew offers an upfront, fair price to make your project easy. In fact, this month, take advantage of pre-pandemic pricing plus no interest or payments for 24 months. Renew Home Exteriors. Superior product, superior service. Visit RenewEstimate.com, and they will take care of you. Time to the categories. On the Indianapolis Colts, two days in a row, kind of, what are we doing? I guess, who would you rather be? You're not up. Who would you rather be? Would you rather be the Colts or the Cardinals?
I would rather be a person with an on-off light that I push
Same.
right there.
Not going to happen, though. Cards or Colts? Who would you rather be? Takeaway location, because I know that.
Yeah. Cards are location-wise only, probably Colts.
Yeah. I think you can
At
talk
least you have
yourself.
a chance to get a quarterback.
I think you could talk yourself into Kyler, though.
Yeah, but my roster is at a point right now where like I have nothing else around him. I mean, it's a pretty bad roster.
You might also be able to talk somebody else into him.
Well, maybe.
So that would maybe be.
Well, also, and you're dealing with now their owner's got some issues.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not great.
Irsay is just. I mean, I get to be Irsay. I guess feels like fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be. That would be fun. All right.
I was gone for 3 days.
That's right.
I feel like there are 100 new people that I'm nursing for in my life. Like, I don't understand. That's where they come from.
We have our State of the Union, because remember our fiscal year started Saturday, so we have our big annual meeting today at 3:00. So there's people here from the stadium. Yeah. There might be people here from
so many people
from
I've never seen.
I don't know where else, but there are a lot of people here. I have no idea who they are.
Okay.
All right, you ready for this?
Yep.
Let's do it. Do we have the traveling music? A little bit of music here?
Paulus, give us a little travel music.
What is it? Categories. Colts.
Uniforms, keep change, or if change, what variation?
I like them. I like their uniforms. My variation, though, is, and I didn't know about it till Madden, but then you search it, and it's the 1954 Colts throwback blue helmets.
Yeah.
That have the double horseshoe on the back.
I like that.
Peyton wore them.
He did.
So they have worn them.
Mm-hmm.
I love that look.
It's
I think
a strong
that
look.
is, it, especially with the all white. You wear the all white with that blue helmet, and I think it is a sweet look. I don't like it so much if they were to wear it with a blue jersey, but the all white with that blue helmet, I think is a real strong look.
Clean and with a Peyton Manning in it.
Yes, and it's a dark blue. It's a darker blue.
Yeah. Slightly darker, not navy. Definitely not navy, but it is. It's good.
And it's got the double horseshoe on the back. I think that's a great helmet. I'd like to see them wear that more.
Yeah,
often.
they're basically doing the Oilers thing though, because it's Baltimore Colts.
Yeah,
is the thing.
But it's just the helmet.
Yeah.
It's still the Colts, and they've been the Colts.
They've been the Colts the whole time. So that was one of those teams. And honestly, that's one of those teams. Probably should have all stayed in Baltimore.
Yeah,
when you think about
the whole
that.
horse racing thing.
Ravens though is way better for them. I think.
Yeah, but I mean the Baltimore Colts. That was a pretty big deal.
Right, but why are they the Colts?
Pimlico.
Okay.
Well, horse racing. I mean, that was next to Kentucky. Horse
it's number
racing.
2, though.
Yeah, but it was pretty solid. I mean, that's
which one is that?
Seabiscuit.
Is that
that's
the Preakness?
Yeah. That was the Seabiscuit race against War Admiral. War Admiral was a Maryland horse. Okay. Look, I keep them. I think they're more that there's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, it's a pretty iconic look. It's a very simple look. But it's clean.
But I like it.
I like it too. I don't have a problem with it. Their gear's cool.
I like that helmet though. That helmet needs to be in the mix.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's my tweet.
In terms of which uniforms, they're all good. They're all strong. None of them's an A+. They're all a B+. It's a very strong uniform, and I do like. I haven't thought about that one in a long time. It looks good. The key to that, and it's the key to right. So on the Manning face mask and the blue helmet, they're wearing the gray face mask. That's key. If you're gonna wear a throwback looking helmet, then the face mask has to match the helmet. That's
got to be gray.
Yeah, it's got to be gray. Stadium, elite.
Solid.
I think it's elite. I think it's judged now against like Minnesota.
Yeah, which is elite.
Which is a whole nother level of elite.
They're just newer. Minnesota, and I'll tell you, after being at Mania for SoFi, that place is amazing.
Yeah. But you also were in a suite.
Yeah.
And you had good weather.
I couldn't imagine.
It wasn't 92 degrees.
Fair.
You know.
I can't imagine anywhere has suites as nice as those suites.
I think that's their whole operation was
Yeah.
that, though, right?
Congrats,
Maybe
brother.
Jerry.
Yeah,
Maybe Jerry World
maybe.
would have suites better.
I don't think so. They're older.
Yeah, I don't
I mean, I remember the field cabanas that they had when we were at SoFi. Remember, we were there at
Yeah, the
An
ones in the end zone are
ungodly
unbelievable.
hour
I mean, you're 5 feet from the end zone, the back pylon.
I think Lucas Oil holds up very, very well.
It's a great
and
stadium.
I think if you're building a stadium in this part of the country,
It's gotta be a
that's
dome.
what you build.
I think it's fine. I think it's good. However, I will say, when you are 10 stories up calling a game, you are pretty high.
I understand, Gibby, but they don't care about
that
you.
affects
No.
3 people.
That affects you guys. I
Four
mean,
of us.
they're worried
Higher
about
than Houston?
It's about just as high. Like, you get in the elevator and you're like, wow, there are multiple floors here to go. To
the
get
press
up
box
there.
is all the way up.
Yeah.
And it's in the corner. But they
Correct.
don't care about that. They're from
No,
a,
it's from a yeah.
seats,
I'm
suites,
fine because no matter what, I'm
know.
inside.
Yeah.
So you're out of the elements.
Yeah.
Life's great.
and they can open up the one end if they want.
Which is really cool.
Which
It's
is
a
nice.
glass, the
Yeah.
flat glass
Yeah.
facing the
Yeah.
city.
I think it's great. It's
Um,
and it's
I
awesome.
think
And
it's
there's
a
so
top,
much value.
top half of the league, top 10
As
maybe.
domes go, it's not. I mean, the new ones are on another level, but as domes go, it's pretty damn good. And as stadiums go, in terms of benefit to the city, exponential. They host everything.
Of course.
Big Ten
The-
championship games, Final Fours,
The
all
setup.
that stuff.
The fact that you can stay at any hotel downtown
Correct.
and walk
it's
inside
a-
to the stadium,
It's an elite
It is a very good stadium. Yes.
Yeah.
the way it's set up.
road trip to Indy. We just did it.
Yeah. Do it.
Always, baby.
Yep.
You
and
love it so much.
I do.
the must-do thing.
We go there
LOs,
this year.
Or Harry and Izzy's,
Sure.
because you can still get the shrimp cocktail there. And then I would do what you said.
I do the Hoosiers.
Go
gym.
get shots up at the Hoosiers gym.
Yeah, they do walk right in there and get shots up. I think it's like, I don't even remember if they charge you. Maybe $5. They ask you for a donation if you want to,
Yeah.
but it's walking into a movie.
Go
set.
Irish.
How
is.
sweet
Get a
are
little
the,
Italian.
the balls like that dark brown, like to really look like an old school.
They were
well-worn
Wilson. I want to say they were Wilson Jets, so they were pretty good.
Okay.
Deep, yeah.
I want that deep.
It was a deep. They were worn in. They'd been
Deep
shot
brown.
with a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a religious experience almost
Yeah.
going in there and watching a game or playing, getting shots up.
Yeah.
It was honestly very similar, not in terms of grandeur, but like the Star Wars world at Disney World. How you felt like, my God, I'm on a movie set.
Yeah.
That's how it feels like walking into there. So I
I thought I
recommend
was on
it.
an alien
Hey,
planet.
go there, get some shots up, then go to Kilroy's at the end of the night. Your bar tab will be like $20.
Yeah.
You'll have like 30 drinks for $20. It's
Yeah.
great.
Hinkle's pretty cool too if you can walk into there.
Yep.
That's a very cool place to go. But I think it's the worst drive. I think it's the worst drivable city, the worst drive of anything that is considered drivable from here.
I
It
don't have a
is.
problem with that.
It is shocking to me that there is not a discount airline that flies direct. It's
The two
There's not
cities
enough
must do no
business.
commerce. I'm more surprised, Gibby, that there is not an alternative route.
Since
that
he's
makes
not,
sense.
since he's not a great drive either.
But
From
it's
here.
less.
it's less.
It's an hour less. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's 3:45.
You don't have to go
Or-
into the state of Indiana. Right there,
Right.
that's
well,
a
that's
win.
the problem.
that's
It's
a problem.
That's
it's
the
that
It
stretch.
just annoys you that you got to go all the way south to Columbus to then go over. Versus, it's weird to me that you can't go hit the turnpike, hit Indiana somewhere, and go straight south. Like
Yeah.
to me, that would seem so much closer, but you can't do that.
Can't
It's
do
all
it.
back roads, so it's
Yep.
just a nightmare drive. It's the most frustrating road trip for me for that reason. Player you want from their current roster, DeForest Buckner would seem to check every box.
Same. Yeah. I mean, Quentin Nelson's a great guard. We've got two
We
great
got
guards.
those.
And I think DeForest Buckner, all of a sudden you had Dallin Thompson, DeForest Buckner, Myles Garrett, and apparently not 007, because if he's listed as a defensive lineman, he can't wear 7. If he's listed as a linebacker, he can. So
Is that an
00
NFL rule?
Yeah, 007 could be getting derailed.
So all he has to do is all they got to do is just make him a
Just list him
linebacker.
as a linebacker.
Then it's
It feels like, why can't you do that?
all-time favorite Colt.
Easy. Jeff George.
Easy, but not easy. Do you love that pivot?
Pivot? What do you mean? If you expected anything else,
Bishop teased
you
him
haven't
up
been paying
and he just
attention.
goes, yeah, Jeff George.
Sometimes I forget your affinity for him, and I forget that he played there. I forgot he was the number 1 pick in the draft there. He was bad there, right?
it's fine.
Yeah. His best was what, in Atlanta?
He had a great year in
It's
Atlanta. He had
Minnesota.
a great year in Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a bad deal in Indy. Sometimes I just forget. It's Manning. Manning's the guy. I loved watching him play. Loved watching
Peyton
him warm
is
up.
my second.
Love him, everything he does. I think
Yeah.
very few misses from that guy.
Yeah.
Playoff team, contender, or pretend? No, clearly not. I mean,
Pretender.
they're not even a pretender. They're a road to nowhere.
Yep.
I don't know what they're trying to be in any way. Biggest offseason addition or subtraction?
They added a Pro Bowl kicker in Matt Gay, who they gave a contract very similar to that of Justin Tucker. So that feels like to me that's got to be the biggest addition they made. It's him or Ebukam. Ebukam's either had 4.5 or 5 sacks in each of the past 4 seasons. That doesn't sound like oh man. Matt Gay, 4-year deal, $22.5 million. 92.5% of his field goals, 12 of 15 from 50 yards in 2.5 seasons with the Rams, was a Pro Bowler. So that's probably the biggest addition. The biggest loss is probably trading Stephon Gilmore to the Cowboys from the Colts.
I mean, it's a stupefying. It's really an odd offseason.
It's kind of a non-season.
A non-season,
Yep.
yeah. Draft pick, they're taking a quarterback, it seems like,
Fourth.
at 4.
Yep.
They take Levis or Richardson, and the question is, can the Cardinals somehow leverage somebody coming to 3 into
make
getting a
them-
better deal from them?
Yeah.
Because everybody assumed it would be them going to 1 with the Bears,
Yeah.
and Carolina said, hold our coffee, we're going to go to 1 and get him, and they did. When we had the guest on, this is a fascinating time for them as an organization, because before they landed Peyton Manning, you didn't know exactly what was going to happen with the Colts. They're playing in an outdated Hoosier Dome, which was, I think it was RCA at that time, but originally the Hoosier Dome, that desperately needed to be repaired. There was no momentum in the city to get it done, no momentum from ownership to pay for it for themselves. So they're kind of stuck
Yeah.
in kind of a no man's land. And there were whispers even then about, can Indy handle this?
Right, are they long for the world?
Are they long for the NFL? Can this city handle a National Football League team? And then you stumble into Manning, and you've got 15 years of relevancy at the highest, and you become an apex. It's similar to like Oklahoma City, when that team goes to Oklahoma City and they got Durant, Westbrook, Harden right out of the gates.
Serge Ibaka, shot blocker.
All those guys, like you're locked in. Like
Yeah.
that fan base has never been tested. So then you go Manning to Luck. Good Lord, we're gonna have a 30-year run.
And they made that happen. That was,
Of course they did.
tanked before
They did
tanking
it.
was cool.
I think in a way that's all, what happened there. Almost feels like the football god saying, "What you did with Manning, not right.
Not right.
That situation was not
Curtis
right.
Painter.
Not good. No. So they get Luck, but then he's not long for the NFL world. How many great years they get out of him? 4, 5, or is it longer than I remember?
I think it's my guess
not
off the top of
much.
my head. It's not much
Because
but
he missed a full season with injury as well. Then he came back and won
I
comeback
think
player
it's
of
at
the year.
least 5.
Is it 5 great seasons out of Andrew
Yeah,
Luck?
I think it's at least.
Maybe because we were there in 19 for joint practices. That's when he retired, right?
That's when he retired. Yeah.
There we go.
4
So
or
he
5.
would have been maybe like 5 full seasons
Here we
with
go.
him. He was great right away, immediately.
Yeah.
He gave you 5 full seasons, 5.5 total. Mr. Frayne. All right.
Vapor Max guy.
Rookie year. Yeah, I was going to say that. Always walk
Always.
around on air.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not afraid to walk on air. 2012 rookie season, Pro Bowl, 11-5. They go into the playoffs. 2013, 11-5. 2014, 11-5. All 3 Pro Bowl seasons. In 2014, he threw for 4,761 yards, 40 touchdowns, led the NFL. 2015, he gets hurt. Plays 7 games. They go 2-5 in those 7 games. 2016 comes back 8-7, 42-40 and 31. Misses all of 17. Comes back in 18. Pro Bowler 10-6, 45-93, 39 touchdowns.
He's kind of like a Terrell Davis, honestly.
Playoffs.
Truly. I mean, that's like a borderline. It's like a Gale Sayers situation.
5.5 years.
I mean, he was great the whole time.
He win a playoff game?
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
4-4 in the playoffs. He went to the AFC Championship. 4-time Pro
Really?
Bowler.
I don't remember that. But
Playoff runs.
I don't think you were worried about him because you thought all he's going to do is have at bats.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like when Mahomes was elevating, you thought Luck versus Mahomes. That's the way it was going to go. And he's still not old. Isn't he like 30? Luck's like 34, isn't he? 33?
Yeah,
34?
he's 33 right now.
Yeah, he's 33 right
So
now.
his
He hasn't
rookie
played
year-
since 19.
Rookie year, he loses.
And continues to live in Indy.
Yeah. Rookie year, he loses to Baltimore in the first round, 24-9. Second year, beats Kansas City. Remember in that crazy game, 45-44? Then loses to New England, gets blown out by them, 43-22. And I'm pretty sure that was the AFC Championship game. Then the next year, he beats Cincinnati, beats Denver, gets blasted by New England in the AFC Championship game, 45-7. And then in his last year, he beats Houston 21-7, and then in 18 loses to, that wouldn't even have been Mahomes, Alex Smith,
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
31-13.
Yeah.
So 4-4 in the playoffs.
That's wild.
He won at least one playoff game, though, and three of his 5 full seasons made the playoffs in 4 of his 5 seasons.
He's a you could almost make a borderline case as a Hoff in what he did, considering there was precedent for guys with very short careers. But he definitely was trajectory gold jacket,
No question.
without question.
No
I mean,
question.
he was headed down that road for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was also,
You were on the field for that, right? When that got out because that was our game.
It
Yeah.
was in
out
the-
that he was
it
retiring?
after the game.
But remember, he was on the field
Yeah.
and then walked off because it started to get out. The whispers started to get out, but he was on the field and then walked off.
yeah, that happened while we were there. The other thing I was going to say is don't forget, like, he could run a little bit, too.
Oh, yeah.
14 rushing touchdowns, 1,600 rushing yards.
What do you remember about him walking off? Do you remember being cognizant of what was going on? I remember texting with
No, I remember you texting me because we didn't hear anything about it because we were just doing, like,
We
I
were
was
not.
in pregame and TV and all that. And
Yeah,
that was
we
not-
were. I don't remember anything on that day until, like, he had this weird press
you.
conference.
That he
after
did not
the
want to
game.
have.
Correct. He showed up at the joint practice like he was not playing.
Right.
He was still hurt. He showed up at the joint practice on Friday. No, it was Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday were joint practices. Friday was an off day, and then Saturday was a game. He showed up on Friday, and like Peyton Manning was there.
Peyton was there, yeah.
And Tony Dungy was there, and all these people. We're talking to all these guys and
Yeah.
alums, and there was never any indication. It was just, we're working on getting him back. We just don't have a timetable. I remember the whole camp was
Yeah.
we don't have a timetable for anything.
Yeah.
I wonder who knew when he knew that Saturday, because that was a Saturday afternoon game.
Yeah.
How many people knew?
Not
And then
many, it didn't feel like, because they were still, like, remember Ballard didn't Ballard and then Dorsey were talking, and
Yeah.
then Ballard did, if you remember how far Pat McAfee's come, McAfee was right next to us
Yep.
in that tent.
Yeah, he was doing
On
was
a- like
literally
a
a podcast. He's
a
like,
table
hey,
like
do you
ours."
guys mind if this podcast, it's our former punter. He's doing a little
Yeah.
podcast thing, and he's going to have Ballard on, and we're like, yeah,
And
that's
that was
fine.
right next to us.
They were great.
Yeah, all those guys. Boston Connor.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, they were just doing like,
Yeah. And then he just evaporated. Like you didn't hear from him. Like I want to say one of those guys at ESPN, like Wickersham or one of those guys. Recently in the last year did a piece with him where he just likes to fish and stuff.
he doesn't want to play.
And he's hanging out in Indy.
yeah.
Like stayed in Indy, which is the most remarkable thing to me. Like he could be totally anonymous in any other city, but he lives there where he's reminded of what I don't know. It's a lot of weird choices to me. All right, there you go. There's your Colts and a walk down memory lane with Andrew Luck and this moment in history there. All right, coming up next, little thing or not a thing. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. For a team of injury lawyers dedicated to every client every day, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for a little thing or not a thing. Hello, Gibby.
Hi, guys.
How are you? Where are we? Give us a weather update.
We're under a severe thunderstorm watch. Might go under a tornado watch. There's a little line out in Bowling Green. It's going to rain here in just a minute or two, but
what type of rain am I
The first
dealing
line
with?
of stuff is still like big stuff.
Is this big rain? Is this like 3 inches of rain, or is it just rain and wind?
Rain.
Okay.
I think you're all right there. We'll see what comes from this first line of stuff, which is still an hour and a half.
Because
2 hours
the
away.
weather guys, they're on it down in it's like in Tennessee, right? That's where they're really focused.
Oh yeah, Arkansas again.
Oh,
they're
God,
under it.
those poor.
Can we talk about Live Golf on Twitter just going after Rory McIlroy, trying to body bag him all day today?
How can you? You offered him probably $700 million, and he said no. Like, what do you?
At 8:56 a.m. this morning.
That's like you asking somebody out on a date, them saying no, and then you attacking them. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what'd they do?
They kick off the morning by tweeting, remember when Rory McIlroy carried a 54-hole four-stroke lead into Sunday at Augusta during the 2011 Masters? The Irish golfer proceeded to shoot an 80 on Sunday, finished a disappointing tied for 15th place. 12 years later, Rory still hasn't captured his first green jacket. But
So they
wait.
chose violence.
But wait. There's more. You know how the Masters tweeted out the picture of all the winners at dinner last night? There's a photograph of all the winners at the dinner.
Where is this on, though? What Twitter handle?
At Live Golf Nation.
I don't think that's really them.
Yeah, no, that's not them, Gibby.
Well, then
Are
I
you
got
verified?
got. But it's
You got
but I'll
got.
tell you what, it's pretty entertaining because they then follow up with
Don't let that stop you.
they then follow up with where's Rory? I mean they're
It'd be
just
amazing if it was true, but no, it is. Yeah, just so we're clear, it's not.
it's
Their-
the Live
by the
Golf
way,
fan page.
Yeah, their official is Live Golf _ League.
Yeah.
Is their official.
That's fine. I'd rather follow Live Golf Nation. It's way more entertaining.
I will say this, and I do think that this is a thing to play the game. I do think for the casual sports fan that pays attention just to these majors and a handful of other things, the Live Golf versus PGA thing
Hype, yeah.
has spiced it up.
No doubt.
Because if not for that, for the casual sports fan, nobody cares about any of these guys. As proven by the Live ratings, none of these guys move the needle. Dustin Johnson, Koepka, none of them. They don't do anything. You see what they're getting on CW. No one's watching.
Nothing.
Right? So the idea that there is this rivalry thing, it's kind of the only thing that's making golf interesting right now to the casual sports fan.
Agreed.
And the only thing anyone was talking about was Tiger and Phil. Tiger's basically saying, I know I'm about done. I don't know if I can walk the course. And that's all anyone's talking about.
Yeah, and the gallery yesterday following him around on his practice round.
Oh, my God.
Which
10
was
deep.
stupid.
Yeah.
Why would you I understand you want to say that you saw Tiger Woods
Yeah,
play,
that's it. It's just that.
but go camp out, go follow another guy around, because there's a good chance when you follow other guys around, you end up talking to him, BSing with him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
They become a lot more entertaining when they're playing their practice round and you're just following another guy.
I would say in general, if back in the old days at Firestone, or if you go down to Columbus to the Memorial Tournament,
Yes.
if you can go for a practice round, it's pretty great.
Yes.
Just follow them and see how they hit different shots. You can be right there. It's almost an inside the ropes approach.
Don't follow the biggest of the bigs. Maybe
That's
check
hard,
in for a hole, and then, okay, now I just want to see. Let me watch someone else. Let me walk it. Who can I have a drink with as I walk?
Yeah, that is pretty good. Yeah, so I do think that part is a thing. That I think the Live people are being very. Did you see Phil's presser?
I thought he declined.
No, he talked.
What did he say?
Everything he said was very measured. All respect for Augusta, very, very measured.
I'm not talking about the PGA. I'm here to talk about the Masters.
Yeah,
and
like
what
he
it
would
means to play
not.
the Masters.
He would not take the bait. And I think most of those guys are smart enough not to, because that place can say, how about you not come back ever?
Yeah.
Is this the only major they can play in? Can they play in others?
I thought
Well,
he didn't
they
speak at the Masters.
No, he did. We ran it this morning.
Maybe he didn't talk till today.
Maybe he changed his mind. When the Masters pre-tournament press conference schedule was released, Mickelson was absent, and according to this is from yesterday from SI. I saw a tweet that he didn't speak.
No, we
so maybe he
we
changed
ran
his
sound
mind.
of it this morning.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad he changed his mind.
He might not have been in the big pavilion. He might have just been a couple of guys
Informal.
scooped him up. Yeah, but he talked because last year he wasn't there at all.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's no. They can until their world golf rankings fall out, and all of the former champions can play in all the stuff because they have the exemptions. So Reed, Koepka, DJ, those guys can play in the tournaments as long as they don't change their criteria.
Apparently, he didn't say a word at the Champions dinner. Phil sat near the end of the table, kept to himself. He didn't speak at all, said Fuzzy Zeller after the dinner.
That's what the money's for.
If you go down that
That's
rabbit
what he
hole.
did. He took. Look, and guess what? Most of you out there listening who are critical would take it too. $200 million.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
reportedly
yeah, so
got.
he didn't do an official press conference, but he spoke briefly with the media after his practice round on Tuesday. So it's great to be back, fun to play. We had a good time.
Yeah.
Favorite week, so happy to be a part of it, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I saw Dustin Johnson an interview with him, and he said, "Look, it's not about them. It's not about us. It's about the Masters. And like a lot of these guys are still my friends, and it's great to see them. And I don't get a chance to see them much, and we get to see each other this week."
Sir Nick Faldo said that everything at the Champions dinner was calm and cool, unlike the tortilla soup, which he described as spicy hot.
He's not on the Masters call for CBS, but he is doing BBC. So CBS must have said, you either have to do the full golf schedule or nothing, and so he chose nothing because he's still doing the majors for BBC. He did the Open, he's doing the Masters for BBC, so he's still doing that, all the while living in Montana.
That's pretty cool.
Rough gig. I mean, does he need to work?
I would think not. I'm sure he's done just fine for himself.
There's a sir
Yeah.
attached to your
He's
name.
Sir.
You're
Yeah,
probably not.
He's the one. I've interviewed him and spent time with him. Awesome.
Montanan.
I didn't know that then.
Not
We
then.
could have talked
Figured
that
it,
then.
yeah.
Had I known, yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you inspired him.
Maybe.
Like, I want to be more like Bo
I
Bishop.
can't even remember if we discussed. I don't think we did.
Well,
Gonna be fun tomorrow.
we were going to do thing or not a thing, but that was
did.
the thing.
We did.
I don't. I'm
told
still
you, that's
trying
the
to.
thing.
I'm still trying to wrap my arms around the thing or not a thing.
6 topics, 6 statements. Thing or not a thing.
Okay.
There
Good.
you go. There
Good
you
to
go.
know.
So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Did I tell you I won another sneakers thing?
Stop it.
I did.
What now?
Some Jordan 11 that they put up.
Come on, dude.
I had a feeling, though, because I was in because the more you thought about it, like giving it to multiple, I had to wonder if it was location because I was in Palm Desert, and I'm wondering if they like how many they possibly have
Try to spread it around
in that area that maybe they were spreading it around.
I mean, I'll tell you what, man. So
that's 2.
Was it the cement gray retro low?
Yeah.
And you won the adult version. Yeah, the
Yeah.
kids are still on it. It's a beautiful shoe.
Yeah, with a little Carolina blue in there.
In the bottom of it. Yeah.
Be a nice coaching shoe for me.
1 minute,
Yeah.
1 minute.
Dude, I never. Come on, man. Never win anything.
Except life.
Boy, he's really thrilled about that. Really, just
Did Nana get her thank you? Did she get her thank you?
She said that she couldn't get it because she tried to watch on YouTube, and that scene's deleted, and she thinks Gibbe did it on purpose.
Which I would love. Hey, be safe out there, kids.
Yeah.
Be safe out there in the elements. You boys enjoy your meeting. I'll see you on down the road. Next level coming up next.
Why'd you come with us?
Thanks for listening. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.